You might recognize all these symbols. It's kind of, how should I say it without offending anyone? Offensive and also a little sad and also probably a little bit of anger because some people have actually lost their families due to these. Some people actually sacrificed their lives to actually do these actions, which is kind of like a what the heck move, to be honest. Other people just do it for orders and others think it's just the right thing to do. Well, that's not exactly true. So today's debate topic is, should security be upgraded to battle terrorism? I'm Hanshun Sean, and this is a debate topic that's hot. Terrorism has been happening over the past few years, such as the 9/11 attacks on September 11th of 2001, where the Twin City Trade Centers actually got broken down. I actually went to the museums though, and I wasn't really interested then, but after I read more about it, I realized that I didn't spend enough time fully about the 9/11 things. And also, one of them actually hit the Pentagon too, so that's kind of the same too. I mean, there is a lot of terrorism that's been happening over the past few decades. It's been like over 2 decades since 9/11, and still there's been a lot of other terrorist attacks too. In 2007 and in 2006 and 2007, a lot of activities have been going on, and a lot of other programs have been started, especially in the U.S., to actually combat terrorism. George H.W. Bush, President George H.W. Bush's son, decided to authorize the war on terrorism. The British Prime Minister, back then, also joined in. And this has been terrorizing people and getting people killed, and that's exactly what we can't have. Also, sometimes when people hunt down some policemen, they accidentally shoot suspects that are actually innocent because they mistaken the identity of that person to someone else. For bombers, suicide bombers, which is a new tactic, like basically they bomb themselves with every other victim. Suicide bombers, and they tried to find some suicide bombers who failed in their suicide bombing, bombing up a train station plot. And then they found a guy in the metro who was like a Brazilian, and they shot him because they thought he was one of those people. Of course, you can't arrest some. Of course, you have, if you want to arrest a person who is a suicide bomber, you have to assume that you can't arrest him without detonating the bomb. So would you shoot him? Well, that's probably your best chances. But then again, you also have the chance that that person is not a terrorist but a civilian or an innocent. Well, I'm just going to say that maybe you have to weigh down your options. And sometimes you only have a split second to actually realize what's happening, because sometimes they can just detonate the bomb anytime they want. But usually they do it at their destination, so that's something else to talk about. And since then, security systems have been increased so that terrorism won't be able to do it as that much. I mean, sure, back then terrorism was a lot, and nowadays not a lot of terrorism happens too. Yeah, at least usually. But then again, a lot of terrorists actually find weak spots, cracks in the security system, and use it and exploit those cracks to get into the system. And usually it also takes away our freedom, which is exactly what we need. And now let's get into the debate teams. For the affirmative position, security will actually help to combat the terrorism. If it's going to keep us safe, then of course we'd use it. 2, giving up a little bit of freedom just to protect yourself. That's not really much to actually give up. All you're trying to do is just give up a tiny minuscule amount of your freedom. Also, our lives are pretty important, so would you want to save those lives or get killed? And for the negative position, we fought so hard for our freedom, and we won't have it taken away from us with just because in the name of the law and the name of the fighting terrorism. Some governments actually just use that as an excuse to actually limit our freedom, and they're like, ha 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 ha, no, I have more control over these people. No, I have more strings on these people. Still can't do anything with them. So Western countries usually don't do this, but still, some governments actually use this as a excuse to justify the law, and which basically means to get people's freedoms a little bit limited. And eventually, if we don't stop them soon enough, they'll keep going and going and going until, ba-boom, we're all out of freedom. Also, by taking away these freedoms, we're actually achieving what the terrorists wants to do, the terrorist goal, which is to take away all of our freedom. And rights can't be justly taken away without enough evidence, too. Also, we can't do a lot of things. And if we give up our rights that we fought so hard for, what was the point of all that fighting? So, who do you think won? Which side do you think won? Well, please tell me in the comments below, because I'll see you guys in the next episode. Next episode, I have a few special guests coming with me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and see you then. Shine out. Peace.